Hey there everybody, good morning. Today is Monday, June 15th, which means that yesterday was June 1st and holy hell, half a month passed by already. How was your weekend? Leave me a comment below to let me know how your weekend went. I'd love to know. Also, if you have a chance, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and give this video a like to let the YouTube algorithms do its thing. Also, check out my Facebook group in the description below. That's where I have a community helping each other, being supportive, and I've been updating that community a little more frequently than I do with YouTube. So check it out and join my group if you want. Today, I'm going to be talking about the EIDL Grant, what it is, what you're supposed to do with it, all the things that hopefully you need to know in this video. So what it is, it's an emergency advance that was put into place by the CARES Act. It's an emergency advance that you're supposed to receive quickly and that you don't have to pay back. And you're also supposed to be receiving this advance whether or not you get approved for the EIDL loan or not, okay? So obviously the SBA is taking way longer than they're supposed to getting this to you, but they are getting them out. A lot of questions that I've been getting is what can you use this EIDL grant for? And per the CARES Act, you can use it for the same things that you use the EIDL loan. And I've done a bunch of videos on the EIDL loan and what you can use it for. So check those out. But just to give you a recap, you can use it for working capital, or, like purchasing inventory, rent expense, utilities, paying your workers, paying your contractors, paying off credit card debt that you incurred because of the pandemic. You can use it for making credit card payments or loan payments, but you can't refinance your loan. You can't make a balloon payment, okay? Check out my other videos for that information. That's just a quick recap of what you can use the EIDL grants for. Now, things you shouldn't use the EIDL grants for, it would be like using it as a down payment for new equipment, using it to improve your home or your place of business. Anything that's like a capital expenditure, you can't use the EIDL grants for. Now remember, this is an emergency advance. So it's meant to float you through a crisis. It's not meant to increase your financial situation or better your financial situation. It's meant to just kind of float you through so that you can get back to what you're doing. The next question I get a lot is the EIDL grant taxable? Now, I've done some videos on the PPP loan and the forgiveness and its taxability. Well, the EIDL grant is treated just the same way as a forgiven PPP. What that means is it's a non-taxable income. However, if you use the money for certain expenses, then those expenses are no longer deductible. So it kind of is taxable. They say it's not taxable, but because you don't get to deduct the expenses, it's like the same thing, okay? So at the moment, you don't get to deduct the expenses on your tax return, and there is a bill that was introduced to hopefully overturn that for the PPP, and hopefully they cover this EIDL grant too. But at the moment, it's treated the same way as a forgiven PPP, which is it's a non-taxable income, and any expenses that you use it for are not deductible. How does this grant affect the PPP? Well, it will simply just reduce the amount of your forgiveness by the amount of the grants that you received. So if you received a $5,000 grant and you're expecting to get your entire PPP loan forgiven, well, you would just subtract $5,000 from the forgiveness amount, which means that you have to pay back $5,000 of your PPP loan. So keep that in mind if you apply for both the PPP and the EIDL, that they do kind of play with each other in that way. So what was the original intent of Congress when they made this? It's supposed to be a really quick access to emergency cash. In the CARES Act, it says within 72 hours, you're supposed to get the grants after applying. That clearly hasn't been the case. So the SBA has been struggling with that pretty hard. And it's supposed to be not greater than $10,000. Now there's been a lot of like differing interpretations on YouTube, whether or not it should be up to $10,000 or everybody should be eligible for a full $10,000. That's not how I interpret it. On the CARES Act, it says it shall not be more than $10,000. And then before that, there's also a section that says, it basically says that the applicant can request an amount and the SBA has to disperse it up to $10,000. Now, the fact that the applicant can request any amounts, there's no borders or boundaries in terms of what that means. So I don't see it as, hey, I just want $10,000, you got to give it to me. I see it more as if, the SBA can actually put boundaries on how they calculate that amount. So if you have 5 employees, you get $5,000 because of the $1,000 per employee rule. You have 5,000 employees, that means you're requesting $5,000, is basically what that means. If you have 20 employees, that means you can request $20,000, but you're capped at $10,000. That's the way I interpret it. So I don't think that the SBA is going to start issuing full $10,000 grants. I don't think they're going to go back and, fund the difference if you didn't get the full $10,000. That's just my opinion, though. There's a big movement right now on YouTube trying to get the senators to change this, and I'm rooting for them. I hope they do it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I hate to be pessimistic. I just don't think that's the case. I'm just trying to be real. That's all I got for today. It's going to be a short video. I had a crazy weekend, so I'm a little tired. So short video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Again, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and do smash that like button. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all your support to my current subscribers. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day and take care.